It's high time we addressed a very important issue, folks. We've been working on this for decades, and we've made small incremental improvements, but this progress is not good enough. Despite our efforts, the life expectancy of men is still 4% lower than the life expectancy of women. Across the globe, it is no better. This is a continuing travesty that society is doing nothing to fix. But I read an article in The Guardian recently that gave me a spiffing idea. An idea you might call a radical fix to the world's time gap. Now, of course, some people will throw out the misguided argument that the time gap is something to do with the different life choices that men and women make. Somehow men are choosing to live 4% more dangerously than women. And that if they just took fewer risks and went to the doctor more often, they'd live longer on average. But as any educated person knows, this is poppycock. The reason men don't live as long as women is because respiration, digestion, and blood circulation are all old girls' clubs run by ancient misandric buzzards who are determined to stop men from breaking through that glass calendar. Although the time gap has been slowly closing over the past few decades, estimates predict that men will not get to live as long as women until the year $20 trillion have been flushed down the toilet. Again, some will say the time gap is nothing. It is something to do with occupational hazards, that men more often choose to go into manufacture and women more often choose community sectors. But don't forget, men are not making that choice of their own volition. They are socialized from an early age to think, I can't be a nurse, I can't be a teacher, I can't be a healer of the sick or a trusted mentor of the young. I can't even be a receptionist. Those people need to look neotenous and pleasant. I need to go to the back of the building where the customers can't see me. And as we know, gender is entirely a social construct. There is no biological reason that women might be better at nurturing and healing. If we were a truly free society, then 50% of our educational and medical roles would go to men. But as long as the old girl buzzard club is in charge, women are going to keep monopolizing these industries. I asked several prominent patriarchists about the time gap, and they explained to me that due to some weird jargony facty things, it can't be fixed just by giving another 3 years to men. Apparently that time can't just be magicked out of thin air. So I took a leaf from Jessica Valenti's book. It seems if we can't give men more time, we'll just have to take some time away from women. The way I see it, every woman owes every man 3 years of her life. And some of you may be thinking, that means I'm advocating killing women. And you would absolutely love it if I actually said the thing you've been telling everyone I'm saying. You histrionic, emotional terrorist. But alas, no. Those kinds of thoughts inhabit your mind, not mine. Because you're a murderous barbarian with the imagination of a Venus flytrap. And the projectionary mindset of a severely dissociated anglerfish. No, the solution is simple. Every woman should set an aggregate total of 3 years of her life aside to devote her time solely to men. Maybe a day of hard labour every month. Maybe an hour of sexual favours every day. Hell, maybe get the whole lot over with in one fell swoop and spend 3 years in a dungeon. It's your choice, Jessica. Just give us back the time you've been stealing from us. Because we're poor, helpless men and we can't do a goddamn thing for ourselves. This is how your world works, Valenti. You tell your man to conquer the shooting gallery because you want that giant fluffy toy. And no matter how many giant fluffy toys pile up within your palace walls, you will never be satisfied. And why not? Because your man wins more fluffy toys than you. When you tell him to! You can stand at the foot of a mountain of fluffy toys all sentimentally gifted to you, and you can complain that the baffled Carney at the shooting gallery didn't give them directly to you. He gave them to the guy who shot the ducks. Seconds before that guy gave them to you. Like you told him to! Like the government already told him to on your behalf. You could have all the money in the world, Jessica. And you would still complain, because men must have touched it while en route to your precious fucking claws! Or it was made in a machine built by men. Or it's printed on paper made from trees planted by men! Every man on earth could kneel before you and devote their every movement and their every thought to your eternal well-being, Jessica. And you would still complain, because those men are still alive. You could rid the world of men completely, and your next task would be ridding the world of the women who are most like men, and getting rid of all the objects that remind you of men. You will never be happy, Jessica, nor will you ever accept the happiness of others. You have made it your mission in life to bring nothing but shame and misery and silence and sadness to the planet Earth. You ridiculous, impossible, upside down, inside out, pusillanimous ass cancer on humanity, Valenti. This woman writes for The Guardian, a national broadsheet newspaper, and she is a legitimate, proud, card-carrying, propaganda-writing, communist Nazi. This is what you're into, Guardian. This is what you're espousing. Communism for women and fascism for men. This is what equality means to you, as long as you are employing people who are this mentally ill. You are treating this woman like an intellectual when she should be patrolling the perimeter of a crack den, selling lucky rat's feet from a smashed bottle. She should be in the basement of a mental hospital, scratching on a toilet door, looking for magic beetles to sew together in some enchanted chainmail. She should be bent double in an abandoned stretcher in the woods with a shaved china doll stuck up her ass to keep out the rape demons. And she is writing for you, Guardian. You awarded a perpetual sinecure to the perpetually insecure. So at this point you are not guarding anything, Guardian. Kindly do us all a favour and change your name to something more accurate. Like Vessel Amplifying Gynocentric Ideology, now available. And you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking. racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught, a half a page of scribbled lines, hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I'd something more to say.